Okay, thank you everyone for joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Tracy Ndungu. I am from Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm with Catalyst Now. And I'm here to support this amazing session titled Women's Leadership for Social Change, which will be taken through by the amazing Fariba Parsa, and the amazing moderator Leah Crow will be with us as well. So as you enjoy this session, sit back. We're hoping that you get to interact with us as much as possible and enjoy the session. Thank you. Over to you, Leah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Tracy and Catalyst Now for hosting. My name is Leah Krall, and I live in the United States in the Washington, D.C. area. And I've been a member of Catalyst Now for about a year now. And I'm also the author of the book, Innovation for Social Change, and I'm a social impact consultant. For anyone joining, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat, maybe where you're coming from, your name, your organization. That would be terrific. So it's my great privilege to introduce Dr. Fariba Parsa. She's an internationally recognized scholar, author, and advocate whose work sits at the intersection of Iranian politics, gender equality, and human rights. Dr. Parsa's commitment to women's rights began in high school in Iran and has shaped a remarkable career spanning 3 continents. She earned her PhD in social science from Roskilde University in Denmark, where she spent 15 years leading democracy and human rights initiatives, and including serving on the boards of Denmark's National Council for Women and Council for Human Rights. After postdoctoral work at Harvard Center for Middle Eastern Studies, Dr. Parsa founded Women's E-Learning and Leadership, or WELL for short, a pioneering nonprofit that empowers Iranian and Afghan women to lead change through virtual leadership training and mentorship, even under authoritarian regimes. It's powerful work. This is how I know Fariba actually, as I serve on the advisory board for WELL. It's a wonderful organization. I suspect she'll be talking more about her work there. Also, her recent book, it's titled Fighting for Change in Iran, The Women, Life, Freedom, Philosophy Against Political Islam, brings urgent insight to today's democratic movements. So this session will examine how women in conflict-affected and authoritarian societies are leading transformative change despite repression, and explores practical strategies for building leadership, solidarity, and lasting democratic movements. So for those who just joined us, please feel free to introduce yourself again in the chat, your name, where you're from, what organization you're with, and your location, and welcome. And with that, please join me in welcoming Dr. Fariba Parsa.
Thank you so much, Leah, for your kind introduction, and thank you so much for Catalyst Now for organizing this event, Women's Leadership for Social Change. That is one of my passion for women and gender equality. Leah asked if you please write which country you live. And maybe if you are a member of an organization or you're leading an organization, please write your organization. And that help us to just to know how far you are. And I also live in Washington, D.C. It would be lovely to see where you are and your organization. And then Leah would read it in a chat if you so we just get to know each other. If you want to open your camera, feel free, so you have a more conversation. My presentation is more I present, and I want to have some kind of conversation as well. So what I have a PowerPoint presentation. So so maybe Leah, you can begin and read some of the responses.
Yes, I introduced myself, and then also Tracy Nudugungu, I hope I pronounced that right, from Nairobi, Kenya, with Catalyst Now. Happy to connect. And that's all we've heard so far.
Okay, thank you. So before I begin to my presentation, I want to begin with a 2 question. And I want to just think about these things. Let me see, put it here. 2 questions. So the first question is, what happens when women everywhere, in families, in communities, in workplaces, in governments, begin to see themselves not as followers, but as leaders? Please think a little about that. If you want, you can write your comments, your ideas, thinking in chat, and then Leo will read for all, so we can get inspired. So what are you thinking? Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say 2 more people introduce themselves. Susanna Ramirez from Colombia and based in France. She's happy to be here. And also Akansha, based between New Delhi and Oxford. She was working on FinTech for Good startup and very passionate as business as a tool for social change. And at least 50% of leaders are women globally. She worked with Systems Change Project and research at the University of Oxford, so welcome. And I added a comment answering your question. I think everyone benefits is my answer. And we'll wait here for other folks to add their thoughts.
Yeah. So while you're thinking, so we go to the next question. So the next question, what happens when women who have carried the weight of injustice, exclusion, and silence decide to turn the pain into power? So, so you can have thinking. I'm not one to just anyone to just have for yourself, but I think the answer is simple and yet revolutionary. Societies begin to change. So social change doesn't begin in parliament. That's everyone else may think, or power structure. It begins in awareness. In the quiet moment, a woman realized, I can make a difference. I like to also read the quote from John F. Kennedy. He said, one person can make a difference, and everyone should try. Across, it begins, when I say I can make a difference, it begins in the mothers who raise a daughter to question, in the activists who refuse to be silent, in the teacher who dares to tell the truth. Across the world, from Iran to Afghanistan, from Sudan to Ukraine, from Latin America to United States, women are leading the call for freedom and justice. They are doing this not because it's easy, but because the alternative, silence, is no longer acceptable. So today we ask, that is the question, how do we strengthen women's leadership for social change, not only as individuals, but as a global force? And to discuss this, I decided to outline 3 key points. So the key point 1 is all women are leaders. Awareness is about awareness of power, of your power. Key point 2 is technology and AI. There are tools for empowerment. And key point 3 is global networking. Stronger together. So we go to key point 1. So key point 1, all women are leaders. The first step, the most important step. So leadership is not about title and position. It's about awareness. The awareness of your own influence, your voice, your choice. When a woman stands up for fairness in her family, she's leading. When she organizes for better school or safety in her neighborhood, she's leading. When she speaks for inclusion, she's leading. Leadership begins with self-awareness, the understanding that your action matter. For too long, women have been told that leadership belongs to others, to those with authority, privileges, and permission. But leadership begins whenever courage meets convention. Think of the young women in Iran who took the street on the banner, Women, Life, Freedom. Thousands of teenagers, as you can see in the photo, girls stood up and cried for the most basic dignity, human rights, and there's a human dignity, the freedom to choose their own clothing. And despite 800 people were killed on the street, and thousands of people have been imprisoned, but women, they continue their resistance. These young women were not waiting for permission. They led with awareness, dignity, and courage. And they inspired the world. Each of us has a sphere of influence in our family, in school, workplaces, and online communication. Awareness is the first revolution, the revolution from within. So I want to, you in a chat, write, do you see yourself as a leader? Who have you impacted and how? Just give 1 minute or so, a few seconds to write it. And then if you see yourself as a leader, say yes. And you are a leader, but I want to, maybe your comments for you are a leader and what have you impact? Do we have any comment?
I might want to give people a moment to type their responses, but I answered for myself. I said, yes, I do see myself as a leader. I know that I've impacted nonprofit founders and leaders who I support in my work. I do know that. And just so you know, you've had a lot of hearts as you've been speaking. People are really enjoying what you're sharing. And there's some comments people have been making that we'll probably bring up later in the Q&A session.
Yeah, after this presentation, I'll give you, we can have time for discussion, but that is the first key point, that, as I said, at everyone a leader, and you can see yourself as a leader.
Susanna responded, yes, I do. I feel I have impacted positively my team, my family, and the community that I'm a part of. And Akansha responded, yes, I do. I've impacted young women I work with in WEDU as a rising star, and women entrepreneurs who I've worked with, also women in my family and friends. This is really inspiring. And Tracy responded, yes, I do. I believe I have impacted my community, my family, and my friends.
Yeah, one of the work we do with my organization, that women in Iran and Afghanistan really believe in themselves, that they are leaders and they have an impact. They have the power to make a change. So we go to fast to key point 2 about technology and AI. and the tools for improvement. We live in the most connected era in human history. Technology, and especially artificial intelligence, AI, gives women new way to learn, lead, and organize for change. At Women's e-learning in leadership, well, we see this every day. Iranian Afghan women, often under repression, join online leadership circle and mentorship program. Through a simple internet connection, they find education, solidarity, and courage. Technology connects us across borders, languages, and generation. A young woman in Kabul can learn from a mentor in Maryland. A teacher in Tehran can share strategies with a women's rights advocate in Nairobi. AI can analyze data, translate voices, and amplify movement. When more women use technology to organize, educate, and innovate, society becomes more just, more creative, and more resilient. Number matters, representation matters. So let's not fear technology. Let's lead through it. Let's make it our instrument for freedom, not our obstacle. So I have another question regarding this key point too. So that my question, or you have want to think, what technology could strengthen your leadership in social change, for social change? So give a moment and think about that. I'm sure you use technology. Now this meeting is through internet and Zoom, but if you use it, please write, and then we can be inspired for the technology you use.
We have some comments about AI and Zoom and Instagram, social connection platforms.
Yeah, all of them. Social, the reason also women life freedom became known worldwide because women used social media. They record on the street and send it to the TV stations, to the many people around the world, and then it became a global movement. So that is AI technology is one of the tools we can use for our benefit.
Some additional comments are TikTok and LinkedIn and other social media channels.
Yeah. So
that our voices are heard and reach each other.
Yeah. And we need to be very conscious and very aware of using technology and connect with so many people, not only in our community, but around the world. So as even technology is important, but connection is not enough. For social change to endure, we must transform those connections into global solidarity. So the third key point is global networking. No woman's struggle exists in isolation. Every fight for justice, whether in Tehran, in Kabul, or in Washington, D.C., is part of a shared movement for dignity and freedom. Global networking allows us to exchange not just resources, but wisdom. We can learn from other societies, from other societies, how they organize, how they stumbled and how they triumphed. We can lift one another when repression rises, when movement losing energy, when voices are silent. So with the global networking, together we are stronger. When women in one country face censorship, others can amplify their voices, just the women worldwide, echoed in the women life freedom movement in Iran. When one movement succeeds, the women's education initiatives in, for example, in Afghanistan or leadership program in Africa, others can follow their examples. This is the beauty of global sisterhood. It amplifies power. And Catalyst now is also a very is a global networking for all of us to connect and to can learn. So in this century, women's leadership is not a local, it is borderless. It is collaborative, compassionate, and non-stoppable. So now I want to, again, another question you think about it, write it in a chat. So how will you grow your global network? Even you do global network, but you can do more. You can connect with more other organizations around the world. So I want to inspire and build collective strengths. When you write your name of your organization or your information, so that's only this session we can give opportunity to all of us to connect, to learn from us. So we share if you have a website, and then maybe your experiences about your global networking. How is it for you? Just give 1-2 minutes to maybe later read this.
Yeah, I responded that I'm growing my global network through being involved in a group like Catalyst now, and also a group called the Nonprofit Hive, which is global. Right now, the majority of members are in the US and Canada, but they're very rapidly growing to other countries, which is really exciting. So that's how I'm meeting people. And we've got folks who are sharing their LinkedIn, which is great. So that way we can connect with each other. Susanna commented, searching for online and in-person communities with similar interests, and of course, Catalyst now.
Yeah, wonderful. It's the only way we can make social change in any country. Women in Iran needs your support. Even you live in Nairobi or in DC or any country. That's the global sisterhood and global solidarity. So through this AI or through this technology and internet, and when we are connected through this global networking, we are unstoppable and we can make the change we want to do. It's not only this little organization and community. I feel, for example, for my organization, I feel I connected so many organizations in the entire world, and I can get support and exchange experiences and learn and help each other. So I go to the very fast to conclusion, a call to courage and collective action. So we stand in a turning point in history. Women across the world are rising not because they have been given power, but because they have claimed it. Each of us carries a spark, awareness, courage, and vision. We have the tools, technology, education, and global networking. We have the stories that evoke empathy. We have numbers that create momentum. And mostly important, we have each other. So what I want to invite you to act, mentor another woman, build your network, or maybe grow your network, share your story, and challenge silence where you find it. Because when women lead with wisdom and solidarity, society transforms. The future of democracy and freedom depends on women who dare to lead for social change. Women like you. Together, we are not just change our communities, we are rewriting history. Thank you. And now we can begin some conversation and any comments, questions you have. Thank you for listening.
Wonderful. That was very inspiring. I'm going to moderate the Q&A session. I'll invite Fariba to stop sharing your screen. That way we can all see each other a little bit better for the Q&A session. And invite folks to be sure to think of some questions and feel free to add them in the chat or even unmute yourself or turn off your camera. I've been monitoring the chat, so there are already some comments that folks have shared that I'll turn into some questions here in just a moment.
Let's see, share and then stop sharing. Okay, stop sharing here. Okay. Yes.
Wonderful. That's
Yes.
better. Yeah, while you were speaking, like there was definitely some high engagement in the chat and a lot of hearts and reactions. As you were speaking about women not waiting for permission, and I'd love to hear more about you. You didn't wait for permission as you began this journey. What gave you the courage to act and start in this sort of work?
Yeah, so I was born in Iran, and when I was actually middle school, the beginning of high school, the Islamic Revolution began, and it was extremely changed in my everyday life. I could go free without any headscarf or any hijab, and then suddenly I had to have a full hijab. There are so much changes, and I didn't find it right. Even I was very young, 15, 16 years old, and say no. I don't. I began to be interested for women's rights, for democracy, and since then I never stopped because I believe in my vision for gender equality, for democracy, for freedom. I am a human being equal for men. So there should not be any discrimination because of our gender. And there are so much discrimination against women in Iran. A woman is a half of a man's value. So that was so much reason that I couldn't stop. And I left my country, and since I never went back. So that's the reason I'm still working. And I hope we can see the change in my lifetime.
That's very inspiring. So definitely invite others to unmute or type their comments or questions to engage with Fariba. Akanksha had a really interesting comment earlier in the presentation. I think what she's asking is, have men been allies in the work that you're doing? Could you share anything more about that? The importance of men being allies in this work, and are men already supporting the work that you're doing?
Yeah, it's very, very good questions. During the Women Life Freedom movement, that was exceptional. Then it began 2022, and men supported women. Absolutely. Fathers, brothers, cousins, all men, especially young men, they supported women. We have, for example, fathers who let their daughter go without hijab, and brothers who supported their sisters and then try to help her for her rights. So that is, we can see this extreme support from men, and because they can see we cannot have a democratic, free society, country, if women has no their right. You can't have a democracy without women's participation. And the intellectual, the high educated men and young, they understand that. And they can see you can have peace, security, democracy, freedom when women has their own rights. Women are equal with men, women with men. But in my organization right now, we have men, American men, who supported us with, for example, they one is helping us help us to create a film about this developed organization, Women's E-Learning in Leadership. He's also still working for a new film about advisory board, and he said, yeah, just let me anything I can help. He said he really wants to support Iranian women and Afghan women. We have also support for example, marketing. And I have a connection from men that say, oh, we want to support your work. It's very important because it's not only about women. You know, when we say women's rights or women's, for example, here we have title Women's Leadership for Social Change. It's not only women, it's entire society. It's world, you know, it's if you say prosperity, peace, security, everything. So that is important. And the men who understand it, they stand with women.
That's wonderful. And Akanksha says, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I'll share one thing where I've seen it personally. So being involved with Fariba and with her work at Well, I was in a meeting with, and there were women participating from Afghanistan and Iran. And it just shocked me, you know, especially being from the West and from the United States, when one of the women, I think she was from Afghanistan, she was participating, you know, had I think a master's degree, very talented person, but yet she could not really leave her house or participate in the workforce. And it just really shocked me to see that right up front and personal. So I think the work that you're doing is so important. I guess a question, and anyone else, feel free to add questions. A question for me, like, what gives you hope right now? You know, because these things have been going on for a long time. What really gives you, I can tell that you're hopeful and optimistic. So what makes you optimistic that things are changing?
I think awareness. I would say just the word awareness. Women, the majority of Iranian women are aware of their own dignity, of their own rights. We don't need to explain, oh, what is your rights? You are a human being and equal with the men. They know that. They know that. So they don't accept this discrimination. They don't accept violence. They don't accept, for example, a husband kill or punish their daughter or they maybe wife. They don't accept it. They resist, and that is my hope. So that is women's awareness, and we have more educated women. Majority of university students in Iran are women, so they know they have to be highly educated, and they try to learn from all the places they can. All the internet is so has a huge benefit for awareness. So that especially Generation Z, the young women who live in Tehran, you cannot see any difference who live women in the same generation in California or New York, and they think the same. They born with this social media. They know exactly how women live in other countries, their rights. They know that. Therefore, the Islamic Republic of Iran they cannot do anything. It's a very aware. So there are other things I can mention about, for example, the technology. So the awareness, education, technology, and that I say global networking. So there are women who live inside Tehran, or women. I have actually contact with women who live in Herat or maybe a little village in Afghanistan, but they're connecting to us in Washington, D.C. That is like, it doesn't matter. I just like I go to their own house through internet and through this Zoom, and so that's had this so much create hope for us that yes, we can do it. We will, and we will do it. We will make the change.
You're getting some really positive responses in the chat to what you're sharing. So we talked a little bit about technology earlier, and a lot of people responded to that. Could you share anything about, so when you're trying to reach women in places where they're under surveillance, I know you're doing some special things for security so that they can participate. Could you share a little bit more about that, about how you're creating security for women who are, taking your classes or participating to protect them?
Yeah, sure. So women, we don't ask them to write their own real name. If they want to use another name, or they have for example, a Gmail address, maybe they have several of them, or maybe another name, they don't need to give many information. So that we try very much to they feel safe. And usually people who participate, they know us, they trust us. So a person who participate to our classes, so they can share with their friends or neighbors, say, oh, I did it, it was so good. And then because they know each other, so they can feel safe and they trust us, so they can come. So it's not very open, so everyone come, and we don't marketing so broadly, but it's it's important that anyone come to us, connect with us, feel completely safe with us.
I noticed as well that you have some features on your website, like a quick exit, so someone could very quickly just exit their screen if someone walked into the room who was hostile to what they're doing. And I think some browser protections as well. So I see you doing a lot of work to ensure women's safety who are participating, which is really good. Any other questions from the group? Any thoughts or reactions to what was shared today? Susanna commented, I love what you said, Fariba, about awareness being the first revolution. How do you think each one of us can play an even more active role on building that and strengthening that awareness?
Yeah, it's I think it's education. So it's mentorship. So one of the things I say, take action. So it's mentorship. Connect with as many women as you can, in circle discussion, because it's only this way we can inspire from each other. We can exchange our stories and experiences. If, for example, for violence, they have, for example, cases for rape, and then they feel so shame and they want to suicide. But if they have a circle and they have other women, they can talk, and they can say, no, they were not their fault, and they give them courage, and then compassion and empathy. That help to awareness. I think it has been, for us, it has been easy to connect with women, and they really want to, because, for example, women in Afghanistan, they are eager to connect to be other women in other countries. And also Iranian women, they want to connect and they share their stories. So that is awareness. It's a one by one, also share stories. You don't think, we don't think it's only one person, but when you write a one story and share it in the social media, and that maybe other women, they can recognize, they can see, yeah, that is like my story, and maybe they share their own also. That is, we create awareness that something happening, and we have to take action. One of just came to my mind an example. um, Unfortunately, in Iran and many middle some other countries, we have honor killing. That means a father or brother can kill their wife or daughter if they feel the family honor has been damaged. And so many people make it so secret, they didn't want to share, but started a campaign, Stop Honor Killing, and they share the stories, and people, women and men, they get courageous and they talk, and it create so much awareness on social media, and they try to push. Even Islamic Republic, that is says it's not a democratic government, but they push so much to be aware that is happening, and especially the life of children, children that has been threatened by this honor killing. In Iran, if a person, for example, kill his wife because of honor or daughter, they don't punish so much. This is just few months or weeks. This is not it. It's like they say, yeah, that was a reason he should, maybe he kill that woman. So that is the most horrible violence against women. So that is awareness, and um, women who never, maybe some women have never heard about that. So that helped them to take action and support, and prevent this honor killing that some organization they do in Iran. They prevent father to go and kill his daughter, for example. That is, I think it's saving one life is matter.
Absolutely. Akanksha added into the chat that in parts of India, honor killing has been a reality as well, and she's hoping that will change. And she also had a really great comment here that she knows of an AI tool that engages meaningfully with women who are facing domestic violence, and it redirects them to resources. And it sounds like it's trained with cognitive bias. That's really interesting. If you have the link to that and you can drop it into the chat, I would love to learn more about that. Well, if there aren't further questions from folks, I'll just finish with one last question from myself. So for those in the audience who want to take action, whether as mentors or educators or board members or donors, how would you suggest that they get more involved? For example, perhaps with your nonprofit Well, what would you suggest for people to do who want to do more?
Yeah, let me so to go back to this share. So let me so that is my organization. So now this view, so slideshow. Yes, can you say it? So that is my organization, Women's E-Learning in Leadership. Well, and so that, oh, that is, yeah. So it's so important if you want to connect with us. First, go and look at our website. It's called wealthfordemocracy.org. And because our vision is a secular democracy in Iran. When you say secular, it doesn't mean that we are against religion. We think religion is a private matter, and in Iran there is not one religion. There are many different religions. People believe in different religions, so it should be a secular democracy, and the constitution, the law, and the government should be based on international human rights and women's rights. That is we believe. So that respect for human rights for all citizens. So there is no religion. That is the opposite that we have right now in Islamic Republic, that want everyone should be Shia Muslim, but many Iranians are not, maybe other religion. And our mission is to empower Iranian Afghan women by leadership, education, mentorship, and global networking. So that's right now we have connecting with women, uh, Iranian women who live in Iran and outside the border. Some people, Iranian women live other countries, they can also connect, and also Afghan women. We see especially the Afghan women who speak Farsi. We have the same language, and culture can be also, we know the similar. So that is, we support Afghan women too. And also we learn in this meeting. So we have I learned so much from Afghan women, and they know about the country and the situation, and those principles, respect for human rights, responsibility, commitment, teamwork, cooperation, and courage and creativity. So that is a website and email. If you want to connect, you can write email wellfordemocracy@gmail.com. So what I for our organization, I looking for recruiting women who want to join to advisory board. If they have some expertise, so they can be some other women. The advisory board now, they're American, and they can be any country. That is women who want to support Iranian women. So it doesn't mean that because our organization's mission is educating women in Iran and Afghan women, so every part of the organization are Iranian. No, there are so many people come from other countries, and they can be involved. And then if you have if you lead an organization, or you are in an organization, you can ask for explore collaboration for maybe leadership, education, mentorship. We can talk. If you are as an individual, so you can be as a mentor. But for our mentor right now, they speak Farsi. So as a mentorship, this is not from all over the world. Just only Iranian and Afghan women can be mentor. So we don't want to be any language difficulties for them. But for other work, for fundraising, for visibility, marketing, advisory, and just be as a voluntary, or for collaboration. We will be happy to connect with you. If you have an organization, have a conversation, just to get to know each other. Just we know we exist, and you exist, and then so get to know each other and say if there are things that we can work together. That is, I'd suggest.
Excellent. And I just want to read this comment from Susanna that Catalyst now has a local chapter in Afghanistan, which is fantastic. And she would love to connect you, Fariba, with some of their members in that country who are doing work alongside women. And one of those organizations is the Afghan Institute of Learning, and she's got a link in the chat. So I'll make sure and copy this and get this to you. This is very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, I think all use if you write your information, your website, email, or country you are, so we can share this chat to all of us, so we can connect.
Wonderful. Well, I think this might bring us about to the end, unless anyone has any additional comments or questions. You're getting a lot of thank yous and hearts and good engagement. So I'll make sure to capture this chat and share it with Fariba, so she's got these wonderful comments. If there are no further comments, then I think we can just thank Fariba for her time and for her session today. I thought it was wonderful.
Thank you. Maybe you can share the book. I have published a book. It's called Fighting for Change. If you need to have a, you say you have a link. In this book, I explain about women life freedom movement, because I think women life freedom is a philosophy. It's not a just slogan. It's global. It's not only Iranian. And then I explain how it contrasts the Islamic, the political Islamic ideology that we have now in Iran. So that is the contrast, and then why they are standing opposite, and how women want to make change. So that is in 200 pages, uh, explain the stories and my research for about Iran, because I'm by education I'm political scientist, and I many years worked for democracy and change for freedom in Iran. So that is a collection of my research, and especially the new these recent years changes in Iran. So that is the book. If you are interested, you can find it in Amazon. And then if you want a question about the book, I give book talk. So if you're interested to know more about Iranian women or Afghan women, or especially because I'm Iranian, so they focus on Iran in this book, and also Islamic political ideology, because the one we experience in Iran is not the Islam or religion. It is a political ideology, and I explain in my book how it became an ideology. So that is also the way we can connect for a book talk. And if want to participate, you have a, if you are the women organization, you have a conference, you have a meeting. That's the way we can collaborate and learn from each other.
Wonderful, thank you. Well, as we wrap up, Tracy or Susanna, any last words from Catalyst now as we close out, or we'll just thank everyone for participating and end the session.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much, Leah and Fariba. Thank you for this amazing and inspiring session and conversation. We'll be looking forward for more connections after this conversation today. And thank you for closing up with this incredible conversation today, our Catalyzing Change Week. And we'll keep in touch. Have a lovely Friday and good weekend to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for participation.
Thank you. And have a lovely weekend, all of you.